The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shades thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Is National Indian Pudding Day, guys.
Yeah, he says Indian Pudding Day?
Indian pudding. That's what they say.
When's the last time you sat down on the promenade and had a nice little pudding date with extra small spoons, Jason?
Oh, God. Here we go. Anyways, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. And kicking it off today, that's right, we have the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, the Quasimodo caretaker, the baby daddy specialist, and the dope dad himself. It is none other than Rico Lamitte.
I get no applause this morning.
There's no one in the room today, bro. So you're SOL.
Nobody cares.
Cry a river, bro. Cry a river.
Nice little golf clap right there. You know what I'm saying? A little putt. But my story today is, unfortunately, we got more bad news in the forecast for legal operators in California. This morning, Green Market Report's John Schroyer reported on yet another looming California cannabis tax rate increase this July. It'd be just the latest in a series of unseemingly never-ending economic challenges for the Golden State operators, as the state's 15% excise tax on cannabis is set to rise to 19% on July 1st. That is, unless lawmakers act now. This tax hike, part of a 2022 deal that removed the state cultivation tax, was designed to gradually increase over time. However, the industry has struggled in recent years with numerous business closures, leading to a major drop in sales tax revenue. At this week's Benzinga conference held in Anaheim, in Orange County, near Jason Beck and his pudding dates, industry insiders warned that the new tax could critically damage the legal market, potentially driving more consumers to the illicit market. Embark co-founder Dustin Moore and others are calling for urgent lobbying efforts to stop the tax hike, as they argue that retailers cannot absorb the additional 4% hit to their margins. State Department of Cannabis Control Director Nicole Elliott acknowledged the industry's concerns and encouraged business owners to unify their message to lawmakers before July. While the tax hike could still be delayed, securing legislative action would require significant industry pressure. If it isn't stopped, will this tax hike end up being the straw that finally breaks the legal California cannabis camel's back? I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, and I'd love to hear what the team thinks about this one, especially Omar up there doing the damn thing.
Well, I agree that taxes make the industry uncompetitive, and it's something that legal operators don't need at this stage, and so it really will push more people into the unregulated market, and it's not the fix that everybody thought. So I think, this cycle of taxation And then on the other side, they're doing whack-a-mole with sporadic enforcement against all the traps. It's simply unworkable. And we need a new framework in California, not one predicated on Prop 64, which, as we can see, simply does not work, but an entirely new framework. That's evident.
I totally agree.
The industry's circling the drain, okay? And to put one more rock in their backpack as they're circling the drain, it's just dooming this industry. The clients that I represent, the margins are not big enough with the tax and regulatory burdens to absorb any
unknown caller.
It's incredibly short-sighted. And what no one in the legislature wants to really acknowledge is that if you don't help the green market, the legal market, get up and run easier, the trap's going to continue to win. You're going to continue to chase your tail, chasing the black market, because they don't need to worry about all this stuff. People want to buy weed. If you don't give them the opportunity to get it and get it in a way that's safe and economical, affordable, and with ease, they're going to the trap market or they're going to the black market. And that's just the reality. And the legislatures just do not seem to grasp this. Like squeezing a balloon. You know, you may squeeze it in the middle, it pops out someplace else, and the end result is you haven't fixed the problem. And Omar's right. I supported 64 because it wiped out the criminal penalties almost universally. It's a misdemeanor soaking wet, no matter how you try to phrase this, okay? But this local control bullshit is killing the industry. And to mention that, everybody in the city and county organizations, they're puckers up. The cops don't want to talk about it. But as long as we have local control, this is going to be a disaster in California.
I agree with you 100%, Dale. As long as we have local control, it'd be a total disaster. But I'll tell you what you can do if you want to avoid all these taxes. You can head over to www.paradygummy.com and order your D9 gummies right now without any of that type of taxation, just basic old sales tax. Just saying.
And there it is. The newly lipstick on the pig trap market is let's buy the stuff on the internet.
Just buy it from the internet. We'll ship it straight to your door. Boom.
My God, what is this, bro? What is in front of me? Oh man.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to the Cole Memo, who's threw in a super chat already today. Thank you so much. The Cole Memo says, "Happy Hump Day, or Hemp Day. It's Hemp Day now," he says.
Oh boy.
It is Hemp Day.
Yeah, it's Hemp Day, baby.
Has more issues on the horizon.
It's Hemp Day, man. Make sure you head over to Parody Gummy, order you some today.
I don't know, man. Like more cannabis taxes, more gas taxes, more everything. They're taxing everybody the fuck out of the state right now. Like, this is not good.
Yep.
Well, the state's still mostly blue, so.
No, it's not.
In the decision-making areas, it is, Jason. The metropolitans, it is. I'm looking at
that part's true.
I wasn't calling it Republicans or Democrats. I figured
I'd just get there before you did.
Hold on. We're not trying to go there today.
Why not?
Let's keep it narrow. Because
just a reminder: land does not vote; people vote.
Yeah.
100%. The metropolitan people
affect everybody
in the decision-making areas of California, where we're talking about taxation being absolutely up our ass and around the corner, are blue.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
That's right. The Blues love taxes.
Good morning, everyone.
Top of the morning.
Morning, Jenny.
Fair enough. Look at that.
Let's not pretend like taxation isn't a very appealing argument for legalization, particularly to the conservative
side.
No,
100%. 100% it is. 100% it is. When we're looking at California and we're literally stacking taxes, right? We're paying gross tax on our excise tax, and we're taxing at every level, the same tax for every operator on the same exact product that was already taxed at the previous level. It's a little bit egregious, and I understand that that's a great reason. And we were in Colorado as well, Sohum, so we see the signs where we can see where the tax money has actually gone back to enrich the community and build parks and fix these areas like Trinidad and Pueblo that were old, steel mining towns that aren't steel working towns that weren't necessary anymore, and save those people. But that's not what California's doing. We're throwing it into the general fund and lining people's pockets and paying the police with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just different when you're looking at a state the size of California and the market and the demand there versus Colorado. Colorado, they haven't had to change the tax rates at all because they issued enough cultivation licenses where they effectively created enough supply within the legal system that prices came down so that even after the exorbitant taxes, the product that you're buying in a retail store is still comparable in price to what you're, what you're paying on the trap. California is just so much bigger, but that's not the same workable solution. They have to do something to address the taxes, and it's unbelievable to me that so many seemingly intelligent people that work in and around the government can't seem to figure out that the only way to get rid of the trap is to reduce taxes and make retail product comparable in price.
Yeah. You can talk yourself blue in the face, one, because I've been to the Capitol. I've been at city council meetings, supervisor meetings, and you run into a brick wall. The predominant feeling is, well, we're not sure we want to do this, so we're going to make it hard. We're going to take simple baby steps along the way, and the trap's just laughing their ass off, okay? Because if you guys don't meet the purchaser where they are, you're never going to defeat this. This is malum prohibitum stuff. This is not crimes that are malum and say murder and robbery and rape and violent crime. The government decided in 1937, we don't want you buying marijuana anymore. And in 70, the same thing. We don't want you buying this anymore. They didn't give a shit what the public thought, okay? And over the last 50 years, the public decided, we want weed. We don't give a fuck what the government says. We want weed. So if you don't meet us where we are, then the trap's going to just laugh their ass to where they bury their money.
Very, very true.
Rocket science. You tell them all the time as much as you want. I tell these lawmakers that you piss and moan a lot about the liberals wanting to tax and regulate everything, but when it comes to marijuana, what do? You tax and regulate the shit out of it, okay? So now what's the answer? You're as guilty of what you accuse the other side of, okay? So get the hell out of people's way. Let everybody who wants to do this do it, because that's what the trap does. And if they can't make it, they go to bankruptcy like every other business does. Get the hell out of people's way.
Is there any possibility of getting an amendment to Prop 64 on the ballot that would eliminate home rule jurisdiction?
Sure, but it takes a supermajority in the legislature. It's an amendable initiative. Otherwise, you go back to the voting public.
That's what I'm saying on the ballot, though.
And the League of Cities is never going to support that, so you're never going to get that to happen through the legislature. It would only happen through a ballot initiative.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying by ballot initiative.
And no one in California in weed has enough money to pay for it anymore.
And nobody wants to fix, broken Prop 64, so it wouldn't be an amendment. It would be like,
it'd be a new proposition, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I think Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg will be down for fixing the broken 64.
Oh boy.
Maybe.
Oh, man.
Well, if it took one billionaire to break everything, maybe another billionaire can fix everything. Or do we have? I have more faith in the people than in billionaires.
I mean, I don't. But nonetheless, we're going to go to a commercial and we're going to be right back.
Rolling in my 64.
We might.
Oh man, that was weird. Hey, you America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
I'll never hear it, in the club. You know
And
what
we're
I'm saying?
back. We're back, Rico.
Oh,
Let him ride.
Yeah.
we are back. Like we left something up. Next, y'all know who it is. It is none other than the deputy cannabis czar of America. High at 9 News head honcho, temporarily until he gets that call from the Doge King himself. Here to break us off with a little hemp day action, Jason Beck.
Oh, man. Good morning, Rico. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I don't care. I don't need them applause. I'm not worried about none of that, bro. I'm not here for that.
Applause, right? Everybody needs a little applause, you know what I'm saying? A little bit.
Well, let me tell you who you guys should be clapping for. Man.
Me.
Slow down, Jenny. Because Ease Incorporated has now secured $10 million to reorganize and reopen, you guys. Oh, man. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, now defunct Ease Technologies Incorporated will be reborn as Ease Incorporated, following a capital injection of $10 million in a Series B funding, you guys. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Oh, man. Once known as the Uber of weed and valued at $700 million, delivery service come multi-state retailer Ease Technologies was acquired at auction by holding company founders JT after the latter's owner, Netscape co-founder James Henry Clark, foreclosed on a previous loan to the company. According to the new entity, its predecessor completed more than $1 billion in deliveries during the 10 years prior to its demise. The Series B investment will fund reopening 70 Ease Incorporated and Green Dragon locations across California, Colorado, Florida, Michigan, and including 57 retail stores, 11 delivery hubs, and 2 production facilities. Corey Azzolino, who served Ease Technologies as chief executive officer from September of 2022 through the acquisition, will lead the new entity, and expansion into new markets will be a focus, he indicated. The company intends to recruit more than 1,000 employees across its current 4-state footprint, and other planned uses for the funds include, you guys get ready for this, doubling Florida production capacity to 64,000 square feet of flowering canopy, opening new dispensaries and expanding delivery capacity across current markets, launching refreshed brand marketing campaigns highlighting Ease's Incorporated newly launched scheduled delivery capabilities, and building new brand partnerships across all territories and developing new market-specific product offerings. In a quote, they say, "We deeply value the contributions of all those who were part of Ease Technology Incorporated's journey and remain committed to creating a company that continues to push forward with innovation and care." Azzolino also said in a quote, "As we move ahead with this new chapter, Ease Incorporated is focused on sustainable growth and delivering for our customers and communities. The $10 million investment will allow us to strengthen our supply chain, enhance the customer experience, and set the foundation for long-term success," you guys. Well, man, oh man, Ease is back again. Got a new name, Ease Incorporated, and I just wonder if it's going to be Easy Street for Ease, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Is it just me?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me, or does that seem like they have quite a bit of action items that they want to do with that $10 million? I don't know. Just at face value, that seems a little bit of a stretch to me.
I thought that same thought.
Production in Florida, you're reopening a store. They have Green Dragon has like 20 stores in Colorado alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. To me, $10 million is not, just off the top of my head, does not sound like is enough for that. I think they're going to run out of capital again.
Yep.
They're going to go under again, and somebody else, like maybe it'll be John McAfee this time, comes in and infuses another 10 or $15 million into their company in a Series C.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I think, look, they already tanked all the Green Dragon stores. They already said through the end of the year they're laying off any employees that are left and firing them and closing up shop and completely giving it up. So I think they went ahead and tanked Green Dragon just in time to get this infusion so they could pop up with one shop, whatever they're going to do, and then go piggyback off people's licenses and fuck up their tax liability like they've always done.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't it mention specifically in the article, Jason, that they want to reopen all their stores across 4 states?
That's what it said.
Yeah, all right.
10 million ain't gonna cut it.
I don't think it is either.
I don't know. We're talking about, well, it's not going to cut it with 10 million, but they've already, if that's an initial rollout strategy, they've already got these stores stocked, built out, everything's there. They've got the infrastructure. They just need to kick their fucking partners off. It seems to me like that's the glaring elephant in the room to me, is they just kicked all the Green Dragon people out, destroyed that company, and here it comes, it's Ease again. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's the part that I keep drilling down on. Obviously, they're not going to open up that many stores for $10 million, but really, what's the overhead going to be? Some licensing fees, because everything's already there.
They want to hire 1,000 employees. What kind of runway are you getting with 1,000 employees? With $10 million?
You're not getting a runway, and obviously they're not going to open all of them up with that amount. But I think the more important thing to me is they just tanked an entire company that predates them, and now they're reopening all their stores and doing a large capital push to do so.
And shout out to the suitors who with a super chat says, Jason for drug czar, you guys. Not mad at that. Not mad at that,
Are you
suitors.
sure you don't want to join the Department of Government Efficiency, where they have two people being used to perform the job of one?
It's going to be
says efficiency
extremely
like having two co-chairs for Government Efficiency Office.
Two heads are better than one, Sohum.
Oh Jesus!
Out of they're both full.
Like I said, the peak of efficiency there.
I'm with that.
Yeah, divided attention. Absolutely.
I'm with that. I'm all about this government of efficiency. I can't wait to see what they do, and they're going to be accountable to the people. Like, I'm with it. This is going to be fantastic, and congratulations to them. Hell yeah!
In what way?
You'll see. You'll see, Sohum. You shall see, my friend.
I don't think I will, but
Isn't that rich?
Jason for
You can't
ganja
explain it. It's
star.
just-
Ganja
Let's
star.
just wait and see. Yeah, let's just wait and see. Yeah, I'd like to know, what is your vision? How are you going to carry it off, and what's your metrics for success? That's what we're lacking in this country right now. Everybody has ideas, but if you're going to put something in place,
I'll say this.
what is success?
Firing 75% of the federal government workforce will be a major success, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, just because you believe it doesn't mean it's true.
That's right.
yeah.
Well, we're going to find out, and we're going to all watch and see.
And the measure of success they're going to use is what the impact is on our federal budget, which, yes, by that metric, it might be successful.
It's gonna
but
be
that is
successful.
not gonna-
That's called
But it's not
success.
going to take into account the actual negative impact that it has on the functioning of our government.
Our government doesn't function already, Sohum.
It's going to be catastrophic, and the billions of dollars. You can't shut down weather forecasting and weather services. And we
Jason,
can't have Trump
All people
drawing
need to do to
charges
see the
on that.
weather, Omar, is look out the window.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, fucking please. Come on, stop it.
For
That's
real.
so simplistic, Jason. No, that's fucking ignorant because it's so simplistic. Stop it. What's going to happen is that attorneys are going to go to court and they're going to say, this violates my rights. I want you to stop it. And you're going to see that happen a lot. You're going to see people having tantrums because they're stopped. And it's going to be a disaster. I agree with some of the goals here. Yeah, the government's gotten too bloated. Okay, this is supposed to be a central government on limited powers. It now does not have any limits to it. And I go back to the Raich decision. They think they can tell you how to wipe your ass in California because the goddamn toilet paper crossed the state line. That's nonsense. We have a lot of problems in this country that can be solved, but not with a sledgehammer.
Well,
Let's be honest. The government is obviously not the most efficient institution that exists, but scrapping it altogether is not the answer.
they're not scrapping it all together. They're getting rid of 75% of the bulk.
75. Yeah,
I'm with that.
fucking
I'm
insane.
I'm
That's
totally in
ludicrous.
support of that. I think a majority of the jobs are totally pointless that are in government. So I'm totally for
This
it.
is gonna look like Brexit in 2 years. People are gonna realize how fucking dumb of an idea this was.
I don't know. I think it's a pretty good idea.
You're gonna have buyer's remorse on this.
That's cool. I very well may.
Will tell you not to
I
admit
very
it.
well may. But you know what? Our national debt ain't gonna have buyer's remorse. Our national debt's gonna get replenished. We're gonna
I mean,
reduce our national debt.
Our debt does not matter because it's backed up by the
US
most
dollar.
important thing in the world. No, more than that. It's backed up by the strength and might of the United States military. That's why whoever we owe all that debt to is never going to come and collect it. China's never going to come and collect their 12 or 15 trillion.
What do you mean? They're already here.
The
They're already here. They got Chinese police stations all across our country right now.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Jason?
Jason,
Yeah.
say that with a straight face.
I did.
Throw stuff out there like that, man. Come on.
Just saying.
If you're gonna throw shit out there like
but it
that,
makes
like give
you
us
sound
some
incredibly
data.
ill-informed.
I'm going to
Okay.
get a Diet Coke.
Oh boy. Well,
Even
on that,
Jimmy
we're going to
doesn't
keep
wanna
this
hear
train rolling. We're going to roll right into attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer. He's the founder of Armada Law, and at one point in time, did some time for a cannabis crime. Here to show you how to defy gravity by pissing up a rope, and maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe even helping out the government of accountability. That's right. Is none other than attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite Tio Loco, and I'm on one of those locos this morning. Omar got me started as we were talking about our lamenting the circular firing squad in the Democratic Party. Okay, my story today comes out of Marijuana Moment, and done by Kyle Yeager. It's from yesterday. And this story, the headline is Every GOP Senate Majority Leader candidate opposes marijuana legalization. Okay, so here we are. We're going to put someone in charge of the Senate, which I believe the geriatrics need to step aside. And that's Mitch McConnell. He needs to get the fuck out of the way. And some of the older curmudgeons in the Congress need to step aside and give the baton to some younger people. What we're looking at here is three candidates: John Cornyn, Rick Scott, and John Thune. Okay? And these guys are old school anti-marijuana folks. And you can't put lipstick on this pig. I'm sorry. They're going to oink and oink and oink about all the problems with marijuana. Mr. Cornyn, okay, he wants a hearing in Congress on the public health consequences of marijuana. Okay? Come on. The public health consequences of alcohol and tobacco, which are legal, are unbelievably harsh. Public health consequences from smoking weed are minuscule compared to these other drugs. And fentanyl really is a problem. So we're going to go study the health consequences of marijuana. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. He thought that the issue of rescheduling was more politics than science. Okay. Well, yeah, that might be true, but the science is lacking because people have refused to fund and allow science to research cannabis over the last 50 years. They just won't let it happen. And that's not an adequately comprehensive review to go into rescheduling. That there's a problematic change in the process from the old DEA, the 2-part test, the 5-part test. Okay, well, a problematic change in the process, any change in the process to make it easier to find that there's current acceptable medical use, I think is a positive thing, but oh no, that's a problematic change. And Mr. Cornyn, I think he's being lobbied by Sam, Kevin Sabet, because his talking points come right out of their playbook, okay? So him being helpful to marijuana legalization, yeah, don't hold your breath. Rick Scott. Oh, and the other thing that Cornyn said is that the Safer Banking Act is going to lead to higher potency marijuana products. I mean, it's hard to even get that out of my mouth, okay? Like, you can't get any higher potency than we have today, okay? Stop it. It's there. Banking is a problem for the industry. High potency products are out there. Mr. Scott, he views weed as a gateway drug. He opposed the Florida initiative, and importantly, he has a brother who's a drug addict. Okay? And in my experience, like Nancy Reagan, you grew up in a house where your dad's an alcoholic, you either are a drunk or you're violently opposed to alcohol and drugs, okay? Scott's same way. He's got a brother struggling with drugs. Rather than being sympathetic and find ways to fix it, no, we're not going to allow it, okay? Well, you tell them you can't allow it, they're going to get their drugs anyway. That's the problem we all have in this country. You cannot use prohibitionary laws to stop people from using drugs. Stop it. That ship sunk decades ago, so just stop it. And, okay, John Thune, he opposed rescheduling. He opposed banking changes. Okay? He thinks the medical benefits of weed are inconclusive. Let me just remind you of Sue Sisley. You know, this woman had more stones than half the medical profession, I understand. She wanted to study PTSD and how weed affected it. It took her years. She got fired. The DEA required her to have a safe like Fort Knox to hold a fucking pound of weed that she could walk around the corner and people have in the back of their car. The nonsense that went on. Finally, she showed that weed helps veterans with PTSD. Oh, my God, Omar, is that like rocket science? We never heard that again? Okay. You know, 25 years ago, when Molly and I are giving out recommendations, the first thing we recognize is that if you have flashbacks from the war, you can sleep well at night smoking weed. That's not rocket science. So we've got Thune saying, oh, the medical benefits are inconclusive. Yeah, because if the DEA got anything back other than weed is bad from a research project, they pulled funding. You could never get weed again to study it. Go ask Dr. Taskin at UCLA, who concluded that it's safer to smoke weed than breathe the air in Los Angeles. Oh, my God. We can't have that. Oh, the three people are going to be put in charge of the Senate get an F. Get an F when it comes to marijuana legalization. So I'm not hopeful we're going to get shit out of Congress for better banking rules, for taking 280E away. I see that Schedule 3 is going to be torpedoed and sidelined. It's not going to happen. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I don't see legalization happening either, or descheduling. Put it into ATF, make it more like alcohol and tobacco. Well, I'm not going to see that either. And I also don't see that we're going to get a lot of oxygen in the room for cannabis legalization. I don't see Trump wanting to do this. He's got other priorities, and I don't think we're going to have, even if Jason becomes the deputy drug czar in the United States, I don't see Trump wanting to encourage people to legalize marijuana through the Congress. I just don't see it. That's my rant for the morning. Okay, I may be on one, but I'm throwing it back at you for what you all have to say here.
Well, Dale, maybe you need to wipe off your glasses a little bit, because there was a tweet that went out yesterday, and we shared it on our Instagram feed. If you want to,
Christie?
Yeah, but Chris Christie is claiming that the Trump administration is going to deschedule cannabis.
I think he was. I think
he
that
predicts a lot of shit, and nothing has ever come true.
And I don't. Was it a prediction, or was he saying that he thinks that's the correct approach, and not that he actually thinks the administration?
So that's an interesting question right there. So no, I believe that this is information that he's got firsthand from it, because I know firsthand that Chris Christie, who I've always called Chris Krispy Kreme, is not a supporter of cannabis. And so for the fact that he is the one that they're sourcing as the source of this information, I find it incredibly interesting and telling.
And do you think that he's been a truthful person throughout his political career?
Totally. Especially when he's trying to close down a bridge.
Gaps.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's bring it back to that. But hold on. I actually want to go back to the comments that, what's his name, Senator Cornyn made. Mm-hmm. I really want to hear the logic of how safer banking leads to higher potency cannabis. This is, I would love to see those mental gymnastics.
I agree with you. I don't understand where he's getting that at. I would love to have a conversation with the senator in regards to how he is coming up with that, and kind of dispel the ridiculousness in that thought process. But nonetheless, that's how he's feeling.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to foretell a bright future or cannabis legalization. And just to address the Chris Christie, I don't see that Trump's going to give Chris Christie any great information. Christie came out against him. He's not going to bring him in the administration. He thinks Donald Trump's full of shit. He said it publicly more times than I can remember. I just don't see anything that Christie claims has come out of the Trump future White House. I don't give it any credibility whatsoever.
I don't know. I give it credibility just because I know that he's not a cannabis supporter, and so that's why I'm giving it credibility. Because otherwise, why would he even throw it out there? Why would he even say anything? It doesn't make any sense for him to even bring it up as a talking point. There's millions of other things that he could say to get attention.
I mean, but let's be real, though, especially from the Republican side, every single prominent Republican politician on the national stage that has come out very strongly against Trump initially has eventually bent the knee. Look at Ted Cruz, for example. Trump called his wife ugly and implied that his dad assassinated JFK. And what did Cruz do at the end of the day? He endorsed him and now is the biggest dick rider for Trump that you could possibly find.
I don't know about all that.
Vance, too.
JD Vance, exactly. Every single one of them initially was an anti-Trump Republican, but once they realized that he had popular control of the party, they bend the knee to whatever he wants.
I don't know about all that, but I think it's cute how you guys are coming up with that. I'm just going to say, well, here's the thing. I don't believe that they bent the knee and all of this. Is they came around to reason that his policies actually make sense, and they want to have an American first approach.
How do you say that with a straight face?
I just did. I believe it.
Just because you believe something, Jason, doesn't mean it's
just
true.
just like little Marco. Just like little Marco. He's getting ready to be the Secretary of State.
Yeah. So Jason, let me ask you something. You think that for all of time in politics, people choose a position for some reason or another, whether it's capital, whether it's getting a new position, getting an appointment or something like that. Except all of that stopped with MAGA in the Republican Party, and now people don't trade political favors at all, and it's all because they see the purity of and the validity of those policy positions. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
What you're saying doesn't make sense. What's that, Rico? What's that?
Let me just point out that there's a major part of human nature that humans love to believe shit that's demonstrably and provably not true. Okay? It's the source of so much death and destruction in the history of mankind, and you can see it daily. People want to believe stuff, and if it's shown that it's not true, what do? Twist themselves into a pretzel to justify their belief system when the rest of them are going, this is fucking crazy. Okay? And we're going to be dealing with this now for at least 2 years until the next Congress can get, before the public, and we'll see how they agree with it then. But stuff that's demonstrably not true, like Trump won the 2020 election. Okay,
he did.
It's demonstrably and provably not true, but people still want to believe it. And
he did win.
I believe in the god Apollo. Okay, how far will I take that? Well, I don't know. Okay, how far are we going to go with that? Okay, it doesn't mean it's true, but I can believe it just because people believe something. And Omar and I deal with this in the courtroom all the time. I don't give a shit what you believe. If you didn't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, or you're not qualified as an expert witness, Marcus Aurelius said it well. Opinions of 10,000 men are worthless if you know nothing on the subject. I'll stop there.
Mic drop.
Well. You have anything else you want to say on this, Jenny or Rico, Sohum, Omar?
Yeah, man, we're no longer in a democracy. We are officially in a hypocrisy.
Stop it. You guys are so funny.
Hypocrisy. That's the new word of the day. Is to rule by the most incompetent. It's the fancy word for idiocracy.
Yeah, whoever wants to bow down and kiss the rings is going to be in charge.
Oh boy, you guys are such.
Then you should be just fine, Rico.
Yeah. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
Jenny Beth.
We are going to be right back.
Got me there.
Pow. How you?
This plan would make marijuana legal, but would not remove all of the consequences. Explain that for us.
Why are they busting in my door after midnight over something that Illinois says is legal?
Right. We've run into so much cannabis. We've run out of places to put it.
Things are legalized, but it's not legalized completely.
My mini doc on legalization policy in Illinois is available for free streaming now at colememo.com/minidoc.
We'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. And YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show will be up on our website just following the show. Also, make sure that you guys check out the Green Party. I know Jill Stein is in need of some financial help to help alleviate some campaign debt. And so any contributions you guys can contribute to them on their website is definitely appreciated on our side. You can also review our cannabis policy and whatnot. All the descriptions are in our description in this video below. And also make sure that you check out Parody Gummy at www.parodygummy.com.
Are you a business that's suffering from the hyperinflation that is plaguing America today? We have the solution for you. That's right, Patriot Business Financing. Head on over to www.patriotbfc.com and apply for a loan up to $2 million. Any state, any industry, even the cannabis industry, the CBD industry, as well as the industrial hemp fiber industry, secure up to $2 million today, and make sure that when you apply, you tell Paul you said hi from High at 9.
Up next, we have the bi-coastal brown belt and high style Brazilian jiu-jitsu with the best hair in the game, and looking super fresh and crispy this morning, I have to say. He's the legendary cannabis attorney at law, Mr. Omar Figueroa.
Thank you, Rico. Happy World Kindness Day, everyone. Yes, November 13 is World Kindness Day, intended to highlight the importance of empathy and positivity to create a more caring world. Share the kindness, you know how. My story is from The Business of Cannabis by Ben Stevens. The headline is, Juicy Field's ringleaders finally face trial 2 years after collapse. Leaders of the now notorious cannabis investment scam Juicy Fields are finally being brought to justice 2 years after the company collapsed and hundreds of millions of euros of investors' money were lost. This week, it was revealed that 2 German citizens thought to be at the very top of what is suspected to be a Russian state-sanctioned scam will see charges brought against them by the Berlin Public Prosecutor's Office. This follows a long and complex investigation by both international police services, including Europol and Eurojust, as well as an in-depth deep dive into the company by a team of journalists. While prosecutions are continuing across multiple countries, the vast majority of the 645 million euros invested into the scheme remains lost, and victims remain unlikely to receive any compensation. Juicy Fields, an alleged cannabis investment platform, collapsed in July 2022, revealing what is now known as a massive fraud operation with at least 645 million invested worldwide. This is in euros, but at today's exchange rate, 1 euro equals $1.06, so the dollar figures are pretty much identical. Investors were promised large returns on virtual cannabis plantations, but when suspicions arose, it became clear that funds had vanished. The fallout exposed a network of largely Russian individuals using false identities and fake passports. Now, according to a new report published by an international team of journalists, Russian-German Victor Bittner and a German count who calls himself Friedrich Ulrich Graf von Luxemburg are set to be charged. In April 2024, large-scale raids on suspects in the Juicy Fields Ponzi scheme led to significant asset seizures and arrests across 11 countries. Over 400 law enforcement officers carried out 38 searches, seizing in total 4.7 million in bank accounts, 1.5 million in cryptocurrencies, 106,000 in cash, and 2.6 million in real estate. Additional luxury items, including cars and artwork, were confiscated, along with numerous electronic devices and documents, aiding the investigation into one of Europe's largest cannabis-related fraud cases. Months later, the Office of the Attorney General secured a ruling authorizing the extradition of Russian citizen Sergei Berezin to Spain, following a request from Spanish authorities to prosecute Berezin for aggravated fraud, money laundering, and membership in a criminal organization. He is now believed to be mastermind behind this scheme. Speaking to the Business of Cannabis, Eurojust, which was instrumental in coordinating the international case against Juicy Fields, said that this was the first case they have dealt with where legal cannabis was involved. In the case of Juicy Fields, it was clear from the outset that many countries were involved, so it took time to get a clear overview. Eurojust staff, national members, their assistants, and my direct colleagues in operations all worked to set up coordination efforts, such as central coordination centers or coordination meetings. In this case, we established a joint investigation team, which is the most comprehensive tool for international cooperation. A JIT allows investigators from one country to work actively in another and enables automatic sharing of evidence and information. Shady details emerged from the new report. Following conversations with witnesses, former employees, and experts, the team of reporters has managed to uncover new details behind the network and structure of the operation, including ties to the Russian mafia. The story begins in Berlin, where Juicy Fields operated out of a small office. Initially, the company projected a successful cannabis venture with a frontman named Victor Bittner, who has ties to Russian organized crime. Bittner was a pawn, later accused by Juicy Fields' leaders of stealing $1.5 million. This led the company's head of security, Igor Kekshin, to pursue Bittner. The directive escalated to a murder order, allegedly from Berezin, Juicy Fields' suspected mastermind. Bittner fled, and Kekshin later became a witness against Juicy Fields, providing testimony to European authorities. Kekshin, who had previously worked for the Wagner Group after serving a prison sentence for kidnapping and extortion, told investigators he knew Juicy Fields was a fraudulent scheme from the start, designed to take investors' money without fulfilling the promised investments. Research into Juicy Fields reveals an organized structure with Berezin and Vitaly Markovich at the top, managing a network of individuals involved in money laundering, social media, and banking. Markovich remains a free man despite an arrest warrant being issued during the April international raids. Russia has refused to cooperate with the international investigation and will not extradite him for its alleged involvement. It's also revealed that some individuals raised funds from criminal groups in St. Petersburg to finance the fraudulent operation. As previously reported by Business of Cannabis, experts believe such large-scale fraud would require political protection, and Russian secret services likely turned a blind eye to those operations, which might even serve political purposes, such as generating chaos or gathering intelligence. In 2021, the company underwent structural changes. Berlin-based Juicy Grow GmbH acquired a 20% stake in a Swiss company, which was renamed Juicy Fields AG, and several individuals with noble titles joined the board. Among them was Friedrich Ulrich Graf von Luxemburg. In the summer of 2022, criminal investigators began focusing on the German businessmen and managers from the Luxemburg Karelath Group in conjunction with Juicy Fields, including von Luxemburg, who claimed to be a victim and blamed the Russian masterminds behind the operation. However, investigators view these claims as defensive. Despite fabricating his noble lineage, he used the title to gain social leverage. He spent 9 years in prison for previous fraud schemes, including selling non-existent investments in a fake bank and a non-existent wind turbine company. After Juicy Fields collapsed in August 2022, the police raided von Luxemburg's office and villa, uncovering $349,000 in cash, as well as evidence of international financial dealings in places like Venezuela and Switzerland. Authorities believe von Luxemburg acted as a money launderer for the Juicy Fields operation, potentially receiving up to $5 million for his role. Investigators traced the money flows from Juicy Fields through large international networks involving more than 50 companies across 20 countries, with funds funneled through Cyprus, Lithuania, Malta, and Estonia before being split into cryptocurrency and dissipated. The ISX bank involved in these transactions is under scrutiny for its potential role in money laundering. Meanwhile, financial analysis revealed suspicious crypto transactions leading to Garantex, a Moscow-based exchange with ties to criminal and terrorist financing, which is sanctioned in the USA. There are also reported connections between Garantex and the Russian government. It's believed that some of the remaining funds were used by Berezin and his partner to purchase properties in Tenerife and invest in local cannabis clubs. The Juicy Fields case continues to unravel with bizarre twists, many of which seem to be calculated moves by the masterminds to confuse and distract authorities and the media. In late 2023, a series of attacks were made against the former Juicy Fields CEO von Luxemburg, including the arson of his car and the graffiti message reading, "From Russia with love." Despite these intimidation efforts, the investigation is moving forward. Public prosecutor Ina Kinder is focusing on key suspects like Victor Bittner and Friedrich von Luxemburg, seeking to keep the case manageable and avoid unnecessary complexity. Meanwhile, Sergei Berezin remains in prison, awaiting his trial in Spain. The headline is, Juicy Fields ringleaders finally face trial 2 years after collapse. My take, this reads like exciting crime caper fiction. What a story. I hope the victims get some restitution, but the moral of the story for investors is, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. If someone claims to hold the title of nobility, maybe that's a red flag that should prompt skepticism and deeper due diligence. This is Omar Figueroa, lawyer, publisher, and ganjier instructor, reporting from Sonoma County, California, the traditional territory of the Pomo, Miwok, and Wapo nations, for High at 9, high noon Eastern.
Man,
what a story.
Yeah, right. Man,
the thing that caught my ear the most was they were talking about having the approval of the FSB, the security service in Russia, the domestic intelligence agency, and the Wagner Group, who is the mercenary army that Putin has been using to carry out operations in North Africa and Ukraine, whose leader was just killed, assassinated in a plane crash a few months ago trying to fly back to Moscow. This is a
juicy story, right?
This is nice. I like it. I mean, obviously not the result of it and people being scammed out of their money, but man, what a juicy story.
Wow. What do you have to say?
Why didn't people do more due diligence here? I mean, that's the question I have. Even in the States, I've had clients who got into investment roles, took money from people, and when it comes out that they are previously prosecuted and they were enjoined from ever being involved in any business as an officer and director, and you go, well, how'd this happen? Well, I don't know, because their history seems to be readily obtainable. And it's irritating to watch people get duped into things. Then when you ask them a couple of questions that investors should be asking, and the dumb look on their face is, well, what? You're going to go spend your money on something, give money to a guy who spent 7 years in prison for fraud, and he's telling you, I'm related to German nobility, please give me money. And the answer is, what the fuck are you smoking, man? Come on.
I mean, the same reason why they do it here, Dale, is like people don't do their due diligence. They get caught with a quick little teaser deck and $1 million, and they get Scrooge McDuck eyes, and they're like, okay, cool, here's my checkbook.
I mean, I will say, it may potentially in their defense, when you have the support of a foreign intelligence service and one of the largest mercenary armies on the planet, I'm sure that details were obfuscated and concealed from them. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everything was just obvious to everyone involved. I'm sure there was a lot of obfuscation.
Are you saying that there was
I'm sure a Google search would reveal quite a few things, right?
Are you saying that there was a Russia disinformation campaign in regards to this?
They would never do that, right?
Man.
They'll never do that.
They never would.
Russia, if it's some interesting videos that Putin's putting out lately.
What do you think about this, Rico? You love to follow the money.
It's super juicy. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's all you got, huh?
It is. It's super juicy.
You must know something if that's all you have to say about this one.
They are definitely smoking that THCA flower.
Everyone loves some THCA flower, man.
Spray packs for all.
Spray packs for all. Yeah. Weed for the people, you guys. Man, oh man. Man, well, on that, I guess, man, this is such a juicy story, Omar. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. And
keep us updated on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Let's keep following this along.
Cannot wait.
I'm sure there's going to be more juice to squeeze out of this one. And on that, we're going to roll into a commercial. And we're going to be right back.
Drip, drip.
I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's Joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Did you get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that, they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi.
Oh, yeah. Up next, it's the man who, for some reason, triggers Jason Beck by using the acronym ATX.
No one triggers me. That's fake news.
But he's got over a decade of cannabis technology and data experience under his belt, and he is currently developing an athlete-focused lifestyle brand called Grind. Something I like to stay on, over here, and I'm sure it's the app that Jason likes to stay on while eating pudding, Indian pudding, promenade over in Huntington Beach.
Pause.
Coming to the stage is no other than Sohum Shah.
Thank you, Rico. So for my story, we are going to take it back out to Eastern Europe, but in a slightly more positive light. And this was also reported by Kyle Yeager at Marijuana Moment. But Polish lawmakers send marijuana decriminalization petition to the prime minister amid regional reform movement. A Polish legislative committee has taken an initial step towards nationally decriminalizing marijuana by sending a reform proposal to Prime Minister Donald Tusk for consideration. The Polish Parliamentary Committee on Petitions took up the issue last week, and members are now asking the Prime Minister to consider the push to stop criminalizing people over possession of up to 15 grams of cannabis and cultivation of up to one plant for personal use. Tusk has 30 days to respond to the petition, which is not legally binding as it would be for a formal bill. The petition, or desiderat, is more of a request from the legislative body for action on the issue. The Prime Minister will be required to provide a written response with details about any steps the administration will take, an explanation if they don't intend to act on it, or a referral to another agency. Polish activists said in September that they met with an official at the country's health ministry to discuss marijuana decriminalization, which they reported received tentative support. An Interior Affairs Ministry official also weighed in on the issue in July, forwarding the recommendation to law enforcement for review. Advocates are also awaiting a response from the Justice Ministry after submitting the proposal. The reason the advocates declined to propose a bill as opposed to a non-binding petition is because they believe their current president, Andrzej Duda, would veto it, Volny Konopy reported. They're hoping the petition will advance the conversation, which could translate into legislative action depending on the outcome of the presidential election next May. The Polish committee's petition referral comes months after a law legalizing medical marijuana in neighboring Ukraine went into effect amid that country's ongoing conflict with Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky officially signed the medical cannabis legislation in February, a step that he and other officials said could help soldiers address physical and mental wounds incurred during the war. On the other side of Poland, Germany enacted a marijuana legalization law this year, and just a few months after officials began approving marijuana social clubs, which cultivate cannabis on behalf of enrolled members. First Groups announced its initial distribution of marijuana this year. Personal use, cultivation, and limited availability through cannabis social clubs is just the first of a two-part legalization plan in Germany. Advocates and stakeholders are still awaiting details on the government's plan for a second pillar of the law that is expected to provide for a broader commercial sales model. So more progress happening out in Europe, specifically Eastern Europe, which you love to see. It's a little bit surprising to me to see the push that a lot of these countries have made towards legalizing either medical or adult use in the past few years, but props to Poland. I hope their prime minister moves forward with this proposal and this petition, and they draft it and pass a law accordingly. This is Sohum reporting from the ATX, Jason's favorite city. For High at 9 News, let's kick it back to the team, see what everyone has to say.
Austin is my favorite city. Well, interesting.
ATX, huh?
All right. Sohum, the best part about being in Austin?
What's that?
You're surrounded by Texas.
Something like that.
Oh my gosh.
That's true.
Jason, what are you smacking on, bub?
Oh, man. I got a little piece of candy.
Indian pudding.
Indian pudding,
yeah. Indian pudding flavor candy, yeah.
All right, that Punjabi MC, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Man, this is great news. This is great news for Europe right here, Sohum.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a non-binding petition, but it's a step in the right direction. And a lot of these Eastern European countries, I've spent time working in Ukraine. I've had to fly through Poland to get there. They're not places that would be at what you would think would be at the forefront of pushing these legal changes, but it's really awesome to see.
No,
Fair
I would
enough.
not think after the time I was in Warsaw that they would be pushing anything through. But this is awesome. Maybe Germany is rubbing off on everyone.
Well, Germany is the big dog in the European Union.
And if you want to invest in Germany, let me know, because I have a project right now I'm doing a funding round for. We can all shamelessly plug ourselves, Jason.
I love that. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
So I guess maybe let's throw this out there.
Go ahead, Sohum.
Who do we think? So go ahead. So take money from the Wagner Group and the Russians. They'll help you.
No. I actually like my client. I actually like my clients. They're a really cool collective. They've already crowdsourced a bunch in their membership fees, but they just got a 66 million euro.
Jenny Beth, you're saying you don't want blood money from Mali and Burkina Faso?
The only blood I want are blood diamonds.
Oh,
I'm
look
not
at
sure
that.
Why?
I'm sure Wagner could help with that too. Yeah.
No,
That's
I don't want any bloody. I don't want any bloody assets in my home. We're all good. So no blood money, no blood diamonds, no none of that.
Strange thing to say.
Because it was obviously not true, Rico. It was far enough fetched that it's not true.
Why would you say
I don't know.
Little tea time over here, you guys.
Because I can.
Be like Sheldon Cooper on Big Bang Theory. Understand sarcasm.
Thank you, Rico.
All right, what do we think is the next country in Europe that's gonna change their laws?
That's gonna change their laws?
Yeah, whether they adopt a real robust medical program or pass adult use or anything meaningful.
Anything meaningful coming out of Europe? I think probably Spain.
You got your hand on the pulse.
I think Spain's probably the most likely to reform some of their ordinances out there.
I disagree. I disagree because we've gone out there and they've seen Americans go out there and act like a whole fucking ass, and all the Cali trappers are out there in Barcelona where they have no fucking business acting the way they do. And we're seeing the Spanish government is absolutely fucking sick of it. We're seeing them, and as a result, they're raiding the local people.
As I said,
hold on, Jason, let me finish. They're raiding the places where people need actual access. So I think we, as American people, have fucked things up quite a bit for Spain and probably pushed them a little bit back in where they're going to progress.
I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to challenge that because if you look at the geopolitical atmosphere in Spain, Barcelona is in the state of Catalonia, which is a secessionist state. It always has been. And we've seen over and over again the federal government use their cannabis social clubs in Barcelona and Catalonia as a pawn in this ongoing fight between Distrito Federal, where Madrid is, and Catalonia, which wants to secede over and over again, and they use this a lot. So maybe there is some debauchery happening from American and Cali trappers and stuff, but I don't think that that's the reason that the federal government won't move on it, because
there's a lot of debauchery.
just a pawn in their.
You mean maybe?
I've been to. I'm not saying that's not the reason. The reason is that there is an ongoing, long-standing political strife between people in Catalonia who don't consider themselves Spaniards. They consider themselves Catalan, and the Spaniards in the federal district where Madrid is.
No, I completely understand, and I agree with that. I just do think that we're not helping at all. So I think it's maybe a yes and, because I definitely understand the political strife. Like, I mean, look, we were there in 2019, and they were damn near about to go to war. So I'm like, can we get out of Barcelona first? But I do think that we're not making it any better, right? Going in and disrespecting an entire set of people and going out there and just being flagrant and being little assholes is not helpful.
Fair enough. Americans are good at doing that. That's
true.
For sure.
What happened to that American,
something we can all agree on.
What happened to that American exceptionalism? I thought we were better than that.
We are.
Y'all?
We are better than that. Just not all of us, Rico.
We act like we're entitled to go do whatever we want wherever we go.
Right. And if you notice now in the last couple of years, the people that are going are the people who aren't doing so freaking hot over here and are trying to convince the poor people over there who don't know any freaking better that they're God's gift to cannabis and they're such a big deal in the U.S. So it's a lot easier to pull the wool over the eyes of people in countries like that. So shame on you, and shame on everybody who's propping those folks up. Soapbox done.
Soapbox is done. All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I needed some Diet Coke.
All right, well, I mean, on a separate note, I'm going to be attending the Nothing But Fire event. I'm going to be judging that event also. I hope you guys all can attend. We're going to be there live and direct. Coming up in 2 weeks, you guys.
How many weeks?
2.
Jason, I'm very annoyed with you. You're in the doghouse for not picking my judging kit up with me, with yours. That's okay.
I mean, I didn't know you had a judging kit. Otherwise, I would have Jenny Beth, and so I shouldn't be in the
judged
doghouse.
every year.
It doesn't make any sense.
Judged every year.
Well, You should
judges every day.
You should talk to Nothing But Fire for not giving me your judge's kit because
I'm up
ain't got
Mikey's
nothing.
ass. Don't you
ain't
worry.
got nothing to do with me. My name is
Mikey
Bennett,
Kush,
and
you
I
hear
ain't
that?
in it.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, shout out to Mikey Kush and all the people.
She's up your ass, pegging.
And all the people helping out Nothing But Fire.
Gross,
Should be a
Rico.
fantastic
I
event.
want to see video of this.
Sarcasm.
I'm not pegging anybody. Ugh.
Whoa.
Ugh.
That's sarcasm too.
Pause. And congratulations, Anna Lewis, who says in the chat, all my kids made the honor roll. All my nagging paid off. I'm a happy mama. Congratulations, Anna Lewis, on all the kids making the honor roll. That is fantastic. And on that, we're going to roll into another person that makes the honor roll as well. It's Miss Jenny Beth Dills. She's the founder of Kind Cannabis, as well as Justice Served, a 501c3 that helps criminal justice people in need. That's right. It is none other than Miss Jenny Beth Dills.
Hi. All right, you guys. Well, I know that you can't see my beautiful face. It is kind of nice, and I'll have to get ready for the news in the morning while Discord works out their internal bugs, but I wanted to be here to do my little jobby job anyway. And this is kind of an interesting story because 20 states with the highest consumption in the U.S. Sultan Khalid's recent article explores which states are leading the nation in cannabis consumption, highlighting some surprising trends and key insights into this booming sector. Let's start with the numbers. The U.S. is currently the largest consumer of cannabis in the world, and it's no wonder why. In 2023, legal cannabis sales across the 38 states that allow for some form of regulated marijuana reached a staggering $28.8 billion. That's a 10.3% increase from the previous year, signaling strong growth even in the face of economic challenges. What's more, this burgeoning industry added nearly 23,000 new jobs last year alone. According to the 2024 Bank's job report, there are now over 440,000 jobs nationwide, supported by the legal cannabis market, which marks a 5.4% increase in cannabis-related employment since 2023. The momentum for legalization continues to build. As of now, 24 states plus the District of Columbia have legalized recreational marijuana, but that number could soon rise. States like South Dakota, Florida, and Nebraska are expected to have marijuana legalization on their November ballots. And in a surprising political twist, even presidential candidate Donald Trump has expressed support for the ballot initiative in Florida that would legalize cannabis for adult use. Obviously, Jason brought me an old article because we know none of those things came to pass. But Nebraska got medical, so yay. So what's driving this rapid expansion? Beyond the push for legalization, cannabis is increasingly being embraced for its medical benefits. The rising acceptance of major growth of driver in the market as more Americans turn to cannabis for relief from conditions like anxiety, chronic pain, and insomnia. One of the fastest growing segments of this industry is cannabis-infused beverages. Jason Beck.
Yeah.
This niche market is bubbling up quickly, offering consumers a new way to enjoy benefits of cannabis. According to Research and Markets, the global market for cannabis-infused drinks was valued at $658 million in 2023 and grew to $727 million in 2024, and is projected to surge at a compound annual growth rate of nearly 11%, reaching over $1.35 billion by 2030. It's clear that consumers are thirsty for innovation in how they consume cannabis, with beverages providing a more socially acceptable and discreet option compared to smoking. Sorry. Looking back at the history of the use of cannabis in America is nothing new. Early colonists grew hemp for textiles and rope, but by the 19th century, cannabis was widely used as patent medicine. It was even listed in the United States pharmacopoeia as early as 1850. However, political and racial factors led to the criminalization in cannabis in 1937 with the Marijuana Tax Act. Now, nearly a century later, the tide is turning and cannabis is making a comeback, not just as a recreational substance, but as a significant economic force. For a deeper dive into which states are leading the charge when it comes to cannabis consumption, you can check out the full list of the top 20 states on our website, but please don't miss articles about the 20 best weed strains as well. Okay, so they puffed themselves at the end. My bad, should have cut that one out. This is exciting news. I think that showing this year-over-year growth is a good thing. Pushing forward, we're going to need anecdotal evidence and empirically verifiable facts like these to push through some of these governments, like Kristi Noem, who, praise God, I think just got a position somewhere else. So maybe South Dakota does have a chance at cannabis. But I think it's interesting. I'll throw it back to you guys, and I really, really want to know what Jason thinks about this growth in the beverage sector.
Like I said, all this growth in the beverage sector is all coming because the beverage industry and lobby is allowing for all these beverages to be sold in normal traditional retail stores.
Stop the cap, Jason. It's because you're single-handedly propping up the demand for it.
I mean, fair enough. But I am the lobby. Fair enough, Sohum. Fair enough. But shout out to Vermont in this, the #1 state for consumption per capita, you guys. Man.
Which is crazy.
I don't think it's that crazy.
Sanders.
Yeah,
it's not that surprising.
It's the Green Mountain State.
Traditionally been the cannabis-friendly state in the Northeast, and with their lack of sun, and you got to be indoors for so long of the year, it perfectly makes sense.
Isn't Fish from Vermont too?
Yep.
Yes, they
got
are.
a long-standing hippie culture. A lot of free thinkers.
Yep.
With no shoes.
Well, I mean, fair. When you got such nice lawns, you don't really need to use shoes.
That's fair, Jason.
But let's be
Why
real
don't
though.
you grab a cannabis
Trey Anastasiou's dad is a hedge fund guy.
Literally, it's a bunch of yeah. All right. We call them trustafarians is what we refer to them.
Well, I went to school in Boulder for 3 years. There was a lot of trustafarians.
Yeah.
We had a bunch at Yale too. They're everywhere.
I bet.
They're everywhere. Jason, why don't you rush that candy down with a little cannabis seltzer?
Well, no, I have some water over here. I have some water. Yeah, I don't need any cannabis seltzer, J. Beth. I'm good with all that. But yeah, again, of course, they're always getting every opportunity they can to prop up this beverage market, trying to hype the train, this whole beverage market up into existence. And like I said, sales are up because you can walk into like Beverages and More and places like that, and all of a sudden just find cannabis beverages and purchase them. And that's the only reason that they're having such success.
You can get THC beverages at bars here in Austin.
That's what I'm saying.
It's pretty wild.
That's my exact point. That's my exact point of why these beverages are doing good. That's the only reason that they're doing good, because if they were left to only being sold out of dispensaries, they would be dropping.
Do those numbers in this article account for those, or is this because it sounded like it was using basically adult use system numbers as reported to the state, not overall Delta 9, THCA, whatever, Disty juice?
I don't think so. I think they're going off of basic overall sales. So
that would make sense for sure.
Yeah, that's why. Otherwise, they wouldn't have evidence to say, "Oh, our beverage market is doing so good." They'd have nothing to point to at that. Oh no, Omar, do you like cannabis beverages?
Not really. It's not my favorite. You know, I could see like when people are sitting around drinking, it would be a way to participate in the social imbibing, but it's not my preferred method of ingestion. What about you, Dale?
No, can't stand it.
See?
Okay, well, listen. All right. I'm going to be the advocate here. I hated them. Right? And then I was going through a little patch where I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a little tolerance break from alcohol. Not necessarily a tolerance break, just a little detox, little system reset, right? And sure as shit, every time I try to stop tobacco or alcohol, something is like, all right, bitch, let's try you, and stresses me the actual hell out and becomes like this driving force of stress. It's usually my kid's dad or business. But I was really gung-ho about I'm going to go this couple weeks, no alcohol, blah, 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 blah. So Jason Beck, fortunately, we were roommates for a second as we were both in transition moving to Orange County. And he had a fridge full of cannabis beverages, and some of them are actually really delicious. And honestly, it was kind of nice to, like, instead of having my glass of wine or scotch in the hot tub, I still had a cocktail. Most of them still tasted pretty good. And I was still able to get a little bit of sleep, because I'm not a good sleeper. I'm one of those anxiety people whose mind will not quit. So it was nice. And I really did find a soft spot for those. I would shit on them up until that point, but they definitely brought me some relief, and I could see where they would be nice for some things.
Look at that. She found a soft spot.
I know that's a marketing tool, though, for people to go out and buy them. Because when it comes down to it, your taste buds tell you whether you like this stuff or not. Okay? And if the answer is, I can't fucking stand this stuff, I don't care how much your messaging is, I'm not going to use it. Okay? And that's been I'm an old hippie who like to roll joints, kick all the seeds and stems out. So that's where I start from. That's my perspective. Also, my dad worked for Coke, and I tried so many new products. I am not have any appetite for new beverages to come out.
I will say this, Dale. There is a few of them that I've tried that actually do taste really good. There's a root beer one that I think tastes amazing, like root beer, like old school, like traditional, like the candy root beer. Like the penny candy root beer tastes just like that, super super rich. And then my buddies that started TH Cheer, which is a ale, a cannabis ale, is probably actually the best cannabis beer that I've ever tasted, and they're actually going into the hemp space market because there's not enough revenue for them to be able to get from the retail market in cannabis stores.
That makes sense to me. I mean, honestly, I believe that everybody should take CBD daily, like kind of as a multivitamin almost type methodology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because it, supports homeostasis within your internal system. So I think I could see it maybe having more of a case for a CBD hemp and less intoxicating, right? So it's just a different way to take your vitamins.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
The only cannabis drink I believe in is the juice of fresh cannabis leaves. Apparently, it works wonders. If that were widely available, I would be drinking it every single day.
You know what? I had a lot of patients that used to do that and treat themselves for different ailments with that, Omar. And you know what they used to do? The best way to preserve it, because the leaves go bad fast, is they would juice all the leaves and they would get put it in ice cube trays, and then they would have the frozen cannabis cubes basically, and then they could take those throughout the week, months, and whatnot when to have an ample supply.
Right. And right now, the leaves are considered industrial waste byproduct.
Yep.
It's not really being used.
Yep.
But I think that's something that could really, be used and useful for patients. So that's the cannabis drink I can get behind. No problem. What about you, Dale?
You gonna try some ice cubes, Dale?
I may be outside the norm here because I'm a sugar addict. I try not to take sugar.
Mm-hmm.
But if I put something in my mouth and it tastes like shit, I'm not going to swallow it. So I agree with you that there's nutritional value to the fresh squeeze, but to me, it tastes like shit. I'd rather have the nutrients from that put into a pill I can swallow. And this may just be me, but people that are my age, and 65 to whatever, we're older than dirt. We have a history of what we've done with cannabis, and some of these new techniques. Go try it. Okay, I tried it. It tastes like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now what? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we get some other alternatives. And I'm just not a big fan of swallowing stuff unless I know exactly what's in it. It doesn't have a lot of extra sugar, artificial ingredients in it. I just don't want to do that. And the easiest way for me is to smoke a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And get what I need. That way I can titrate. And when my brain says you've had enough, I stop and walk away. When you slug something or take it into you internally, you can't reverse it. You don't get to titrate anymore. It's going to do what it's going to do. And if you're comfortable with that, that's great. But a lot of the people I work with, they're afraid of taking something, and then afterwards, there's no more control of it. You can't take a little hit and go, how'd this do for me? And these are discussions Molly and I had with people for decades. Hey, slow and low. Start low. Don't, I didn't feel anything in 20 minutes. Let's take some more. The next thing you know, you're fucking passed out. I like more of the understanding what administration techniques, what it does, understand it, and make products that if I like something sweet, hey, have a sweet product. If I don't, what can we do as an alternative? I just haven't found it yet. But this is me. I'm a sugar addict, and I'm trying to stay away from it. I like the sweet taste, but I don't like losing control. They need to market more to old farts like me who have money in our pocket and are used to smoking a joint and don't want to take Motrin and Tylenol anymore and all this other stuff. Let's find a marketing technique that old folks like me like, okay, and let's open that market. Because right now they're marketing to young folks like you guys on here that like high potency shit. I can't do it. It makes me pass out.
I'm with you on that, Dale.
There's a whole wide open market out there.
Yeah, I'm with you on Dale. That high potency shit makes me pass out too. Sohum, any final thoughts on this?
Too much. I mean, I agree with what Omar said. I've never personally juiced cannabis myself, but I've heard really good things from people I know that are nurses and physicians that are familiar with cannabis. So I would love to try it sometime. As far as beverages, I see them in bars here all the time. As somebody that loves sports, that loves to go down to the pub or the saloon and watch a soccer match or a football game, I couldn't do it because it takes too long. The onset, sometimes it hits me really fast. It's less predictable, and I can't sit there and drink 3 or 4 or 5 of those while I'm sitting there for 2 hours and watching a match. It's just not sustainable. So for me, I don't see it as a legitimate replacement, but I am happy to see it available so readily in so many bars here in Texas.
Well, that's why they say different strokes for different folks, right? So
that's right. I'll take my Coors Banquet all day.
Oh man, you drink Coors?
That's right. I'm a Colorado boy.
We gotta work on your palate, bro. We gotta work on your palate, bro.
Banquet beer.
Oh man.
Fat Tire is Colorado, not Coors.
Fat Tire is terrible. Fat Tire is the worst. Fat Tire is the worst beer made by New Belgium Brewery.
Downtown Golden, and I almost got fucking hit by the train because they don't have arms that go down on the train tracks that take everything through the middle of the plant. So I have. Thanks
Jenny,
for bringing that beautiful memory back.
She's scarred.
You should look both ways before crossing.
That's right. You should.
You know what? And y'all should look both ways before crossing me.
Oh,
Not
God.
You, Sohum. We're good.
Here we go. Well, you guys. And on that, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific and high noon on the East Coast. Big thank you to our audience and supporters for tuning in daily and listening to the insanity that is the developing cannabis industry. Huge thank you to Catalyst for helping us keeping the lights on over here, and thank you to our correspondents for being absolutely amazing. Thank you to Cannabis Sativa L for giving us a reason to do all of this every day. And thank you to Cloud Media Partners, Adam out in the universe somewhere. And thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. We are America's #1 daily cannabis news show. Playing the outro, Adam. There we go.
Jason Beck, guess what I woke up to this morning?
Hold on.